Hey everyone, today we're going to discuss about the test of difference of dependent samples. In our previous lesson, we've learned about yung test of difference of independent samples. This time naman, dun tayo kay dependent samples. And ganoon pa rin naman, in performing a test of difference, dapat i-consider pa rin yung statistical assumptions, yung apat: homogeneity of variances, normality, independence of samples, and linearity. By the way, if you're worried na baka hindi pantay yung variance ng dalawang data nyo, we can perform the Levene's test. Google nyo na lang kung paano pinaperform yung Levene's test. May calculators din yun. And kung paano yung interpretation, nandun din naman sa instruction. Now, we're done with the independent na dalawang magkaibang group, isang beses ng tinest. Doon naman tayo kay related or dependent. Tapos, parehas lang yan. When we talk about related samples, these are samples that are tested more than once. For example, meron ko isang group, tinest mo yung before performance and after performance nila, and you want to compare those two performance of that same group. Ang tawag dun ay related. Bakit related? Hindi na kasi siya independent kasi the result of the second, yung after, is definitely affected from the test before kasi they're the same people. Affected yun. Definitely. Now, pag parametric test, remember may parametric, non-parametric, and again, recall natin, parametric, kapag na-follow yung statistical assumptions, we use parametric. Kapag hindi, non-parametric. Kapag dalawang groups ang parametric, paired samples t-test. Kapag more than two, we use the one-way ANOVA for repeated measures. So, hanapin lang natin yung term, one-way ANOVA repeated. Yan. Sa Excel, yung ANOVA lang na meron dun is, from what I know, is independent measures. Hindi pa siya yung pang repeated measures. Now, the t-test and ANOVA, again, they're said to be robust. So, kahit ma-violate yung statistical assumption na apat na meron tayo, accurate pa rin yung results nila. So, kahit hindi siya normally distributed, robust pa rin naman itong mga tests ito. Ang parametric, ito, ginagamit ito kapag continuous ang data natin. Interval and ratio. Yun. Kapag ordinal, two groups, ginagamit si Wilcoxon signed rank test. Kapag more than two groups, ang ginagamit ay Friedman test. Kapag nominal, two groups, McNemar's test. More than two groups, Cochrane's Q test. Yan. And we have online calculators here. Press nyo lang, bigay ko naman sa inyo yung document na to. I-click lang para lumabas yung calculator. Okay? And input mo lang yung scores. Then the calculator will interpret for you. Mabilis na kagad, di ba? Mainam na. Now, in interpreting the data, we have a given null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. For the null hypothesis, there's no significant difference between the two or more variables. Kapag alternative, there is a significant difference between the two or more variables. Level of significance, gamitin natin ay alpha equals 0.05. And ganun pa rin ang pag-interpret natin ng p-value. If p is greater than or equal to 0.05, we failed to reject the null hypothesis. Walang enough evidence para masabi na may significant difference yung dalawa. If p is less than 0.05, we reject the null hypothesis. So, we can say that there is enough evidence to say that there's a significant difference between the two. And again, pwedeng gawa ng coincy for the effect size. So, example tayo. A teacher wants to compare the performance of students at the beginning of the semester and at the end of the semester. She administered the test or pre-test to the students on the beginning of the semester and recorded their scores. At the end of the semester, she administered the same test and recorded their scores. The scores of the students are shown below. So, ito yung pre-test score nila. Ito yung binigay nung nagsimula yung semester. Dami. And ito yung scores nila at the end of the semester. Observe nyo, medyo nagbago, di ba? Tumaas. What's the appropriate test that should be used in this data? Is there significant difference between the pre-test and post-test scores of the students? So, ayun. So, step 1, determine the appropriate test. So, paano malalaman? We compare two groups. I will compare two tests of the same group. Kasi dalawang test to, di ba? Isang pre-test, isang post-test. Pero iisang grupo lang, iisang section lang. Pero tested twice. So we use a test of difference. One group tested twice. They are related groups. And dalawang group lang naman, di ba? So ang gagamitin natin ay paired samples t-test. So yun. Babalik at babalik pa rin tayo dun sa lesson natin dun sa inferential statistics. So, dapat mamaster nyo yung table na yun eh. Meron naman kayo magkaroon ng list naman for that. Okay? Next, let's determine the hypothesis for the study. Null hypothesis, there is no significant difference between the pre-test and post-test scores of the students. Kapag alternative hypothesis naman, there is a significant difference between the pre-test and post-test scores. Now, let's perform the pair sample t-test. So, access natin calculator right here. Yan. Same lang naman na, na calculator to, okay? So, paired sample t-test, yan pa rin naman. Iisa lang naman sila, okay? Ayun. So, let's have this calculator here. Take me to the calculator. Input the data. And let's compare. So, input natin to. Copy-paste lang natin. Right there. Subtract natin. Close natin. Add na to dahil hindi naman kailangan. Hindi ko siya ma-close. Whatever. Post test. Lagay natin dito. Yan na. Nawala pa. Ayun din sa baba lang. Add. Close natin yung add. Yan. Treatment. Significance 0.05. Two-tailed. Let's set natin na two-tailed yung t-test natin. Okay? Calculate. As we can see here, the p-value is less than 0.00001. Very small ang significance, ang p-value. Ibig sabihin nito, ang chance natin makakommit ng type 1 error is less than 0.00001. Napakaliit. So, there's no harm in rejecting that. Kasi maliit lang yung chance na magkamali tayo, di ba? So, we reject the null hypothesis and consider the alternative hypothesis. So, yung null na there's no significant difference, reject natin to. Anong i-consider natin? There's a significant difference. So, ibig sabihin, magkaiba yung performance ng students from the pre-test to the post-test. Which is always naman, tingnan mo, cross course pa lang, magkaiba na kagad. So, may evidence tayo na magkaiba nga sila. So, we reject the null hypothesis and consider alternative hypothesis. So, ibig sabihin po nun, there is a significant difference between the pre-test and post-test scores of the students. This means that the performance of the students differed significantly at the end of the semester. This may suggest that learning is evident. Kasi magkaiba na yung pre-test sa post-test nila, di ba? So, evident na natuto yung mga students during that semester. So, yun. May isa pang example dito. Aralin nyo to. Actually, maganda itong example to kasi it makes use of the McNemar's test. So, pero I'll leave it up to you, okay? Aralin. So, if you want to determine if there's a significant difference between groups of data, we use the test of difference between groups. There are several tests that we can apply depending on the kind of variable that we have. One of the important considerations that we have to make is to verify if the groups are independent or not. If we're dealing with one group that is tested more than once, the group is considered to be repeated. Yung next lesson natin will be our last one, that is the correlation analysis. So, different siya dun sa naunang correlation analysis natin kasi ito, we're going to analyze using the different correlation test. Hindi lang tayo restricted kay person R. So, yun. I hope you guys learned a lot today. Thank you guys for watching and see you guys on the next video.